And that Northman movie looks nuts.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream.
Wow, that was a good transition.
What do you mean, what stream?
What?
I thought he was not doing it yet.
Well, no, I just I restarted my computer really quickly.
I can't believe you restarted his computer so quickly.
Yeah?
How is that even possible?
I have a very good PC.
I don't know, like, that seemed like a very normal restart time you went through, Kaneko.
Also, Bone, I know you're trying your best, but the echoing is getting bad.
Well, right now I'm, like, leaning back. Like, I could, like, whenever I actually plan to talk, I'm probably gonna talk into one of these soundproofing panels. I, bought some, what's it called? Adhesive spray to post these to some cardboard so I can make, like, a sound shield. I'm waiting for that to get to me through Amazon. Actually, I think it's in the package I just got today.
Cool. Also,
You have to understand, Con, like, expecting, like, with your computer, it's like going on Wretch on Dark Souls.
Okay. So, not to cut you off or anything, but, like, alright, listen, okay. So, Bone still apparently has things he wants to talk about, theory-wise. So, make it, like, I want this shit to be zippy. Like, I want this shit to be lightning fast, because there's quite a bit to go through today, so go.
Oh, alright, I didn't know.
No, go! Come on, you want... No, we're doing it right now! You want it right now? This is the last one, do it, go!
Wait, this
Speedrun.
This is the last one, yeah, go!
But I didn't agree to that!
There's not gonna be a lot to talk about after this, so go!
Okay, I wish you prepared me.
You had all of episode 7 to
I thought we were
prepare.
gonna do at the end. I was just told by Joshy, yeah, we'll do it
zagged
next
on you.
time.
Oh, well, I didn't know that. Shit, okay.
Well, I wasn't even told when we were going to do it either.
I was under the impression that we were doing it, like, right off the gate. Like, I thought it was gonna be really quick.
I also thought we were doing it after. I was not told when we would do it.
Well, then, if we're gonna do it after, if we're gonna do it later, then we're gonna do it later. Alright, let's just
Let's just do it later.
Let's just kick it into high goddamn
it.
gear.
Let's fuck it up crazy.
I'm scared.
This episode of Umineko is once again
it's
brought to you by the Umineko stage play.
Also, like,
Watch it, consume it, and then give it to me. I need it.
also, didn't like Kaneko have stuff to say too, like in terms of theories?
I don't
No, I don't. I'm good. I'm
So
fine.
brought to you by
I'm
the
just being
IRS.
scary again.
Do your taxes. They're due in 10 days.
Imagine not doing your taxes. Couldn't be me.
See you April 15th, folks.
Actually, it's the 18th Con.
Alright, gonna
Imagine
turn off.
if you need to do your own
Let
taxes.
me do the
What
future
fuck?
gag.
That just makes it sound like
gonna turn
Kaneko's
off
gonna
the-
come for you on April 18th if you don't file your
I'm
taxes.
gonna turn off the Killer
man.
7 rave music.
Since this is the first time I've had a real job, I'm not sure how this works. My company deducts my taxes from my paycheck, so am I good?
Then what you do is you
Those
take
are
your
your state
W-2
taxes.
and your identification to an H&R Block and have them do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
While the
Okay.
depending actually works like that.
Or use TurboTax,
unless I,
that's what I do.
unless I freelance, I will never have to do taxes in my life.
Oh.
Freelance, I do I like my own business. But yeah.
Alrighty then. Everybody get in here. We're gonna start right now. No breaking this shit's just gonna fucking go.
What's today's sponsor?
Don't you dare start that opening!
Today's sponsor is.
I already said the Umineko
let me
stage
flip these
play.
notes really quick.
Unless you got anything else in specific you want to say.
No, I do have something specific. Let me get my notes really quick. Today's sponsors are
Hmm.
New York's Broadway.
Okay.
As opposed to
By the way, wait, Orange, the main menu intro is still a spoiler, right? Because I'm doing this for my brother, and
Yes,
I
for
don't want to...
Chiru, it's still got shit in there. Like, the Chiru
Okay.
opening has shit until the very end.
don't look at the shit.
Do the individual episode intros also have spoilers?
No, the first, the second one, so the one for Chiru and the two that are for Chiru that happen specifically in the opening of the episodes. No, those are not spoilers.
Okay.
Because it's shit that we've already covered at this point. I cannot hear you, B.
Fuck me.
Okay, now you're audible.
Got you. So, did you figure out who killed Beatrice?
I'm audible, right?
You are?
Yeah. More or less.
You don't mean the head, do you?
Baron Castell isn't asking about the two Beatrices involved with Kinzo. She's talking about the one who killed the Beatrice of 1986.
And then there's what we were just talking about in that epitaph, too. Isn't it about time you explained all of this to me?
Alright. No point stringing you along.
Let's start from the beginning. Without fucking lag, please. Who is this witch Beatrice?
Strictly speaking, it isn't a person. It's a concept known as Beatrice the Golden Witch.
You mean the ghost stories themselves?
To be more specific, even the ghost stories are only one of the elements that create the concept.
You've lost me.
Ghost stories are normally told in second person or third person. However, someone started telling those in the first person.
You mean someone started claiming that they were Beatrice?
The legend of Arkendra's evil spirit. It was a made-up story for keeping the kids out of the forest. These are combined with Kinzo's constant cries of Pete. Shit, sorry, fuck.
There you go.
Fuck. No, it wasn't the mic, it was someone came in at. Fuck. These are explained, combined with Kinzo's constant cries of Beatrice, and gradually became the witch of the legend of the witch. The Shiramia Maria became entranced by that fictional witch and begged for the chance to meet her. And then someone answered her call.
I'm still not following, but I'll just nod and tell you to keep going. What do you mean by answered her call?
Because of the Shiramia Maria's unfortunate childhood history, she became obsessed with the occult. Someone felt sympathy for her, acted the part of Beatrice, and played with her. Maria tends to recognize people by their behavior rather than their physical appearance. Though Rosa is only one person, Maria calls her mother the Black Witch when she gets violent, and at these times, Maria views Rosa as a different person, separate from her mother. In other words, even when a person visually looks the same, she tends to view them as multiple different people depending on their attitude. This fact puts the scene where Maria first met Beatrice in a new light. After being chased out of the mansion by the adults, Maria decided to have some tea in the rose garden. At the time, someone probably started talking to Maria. Then, when they heard this occult-loving girl talking happily about how she wanted to meet the witch Beatrice, this person acted as though Beatrice was possessing them. On the outside, they didn't look like Beatrice. However, when the manner of speech and behavior changed abruptly, Maria would recognize them as a different person. That's why her appearance is so sudden. could probably view Maria's love of witches and the occult as a form of escapism. She believed in the power of witches could bring about change in her unfulfilling and incomplete life. That's why she wanted to believe that witches exist. She thought that believing could make her happy.
It's true that Aunt Rosa brought up Maria by herself and that she was always busy with work. I do feel sorry for Maria, but still.
Don't look like the heart. Maria believed for the sake of believing. She believed in Beatrice's conjuring trick from the bottom of her heart. That probably comforted her a lot. And at that moment, the witch Beatrice is born.
Someone saw that Maria-chan wanted to meet a witch, so they decided to play witches with her?
That's right.
This marks the birth of Beato. Oh, this is definitely still you. Go ahead.
This marks the birth of Beato the Elder. Ah, that's alright. All of that about living 1,000 years and being bound to Rokinjima. This is mixed into the story of ghosts wandering the mansions at night, which was part of the legend of Rokinjima's evil spirits. As for Furudo Erica guessed, the two ghost stories had fused. Someone fused the two stories together and acted the part. So Beatrice held traits from both ghost stories. She was the master of the mansion's night, while also fearing spiderwebs.
So when Brancastel asked us who killed Beatrice, she means who killed the kind person who acted the part of Beatrice.
That's close, but not quite. She doesn't mean that someone acting in the part. We're talking about two different people. Just like how, in Maria's eyes, her mother and the Black Witch are different, separate people. Beatrice and the person who played that part are also different people. It was just like Mirage Saucier. One person would be the creator, and the other would acknowledge his creations, thereby nurturing the illusion. The Golden Witch Beatrice was also created by one person, and then nurtured when Maria acknowledged her.
So, killing the role that was being acted out wouldn't mean the same thing as killing the kind person who was playing the part.
Even if Beatrice's vessel is lost, that isn't the same Beatrice being killed. It's easy to understand if we use a telephone, for example. Let's say I call you on the phone. From my perspective during the call, the phone is you. In that sense, it's what I talk to. But what if I break the phone?
I see. If you killed the phone, you won't be able to talk to me, but that doesn't mean you've killed me.
We know that Maria once offered to let Beatrice possess her, early on in their relationship. I think that clearly shows that Beatrice didn't look like the portrait at that time.
So if the person acting the part and the witch character they played are different people, and we're talking about killing just the witch character itself, is that even possible? Only
the actor can kill the character. In other words, the person who killed Beatrice is the person who played the part of Beatrice.
You mean the person who played Witches of Maria-chan is the culprit Beatrice is Berncastel is talking about?
That's it. But as if that wasn't confusing enough, this chapel is now a world inside a cat box. The culprit is a cat. There are now two cats existing at the same time, one alive, one dead.
Confusing is right. I'm still lost, but keep going. You're saying that there are two culprits?
Right. The human who can create and kill Beatrice. And the human who never gave birth to Beatrice in the first place, who can kill the entire concept of Beatrice. Both of those humans are here.
Then let me ask.
B? Then let me ask. In the Beatrice murder case, who are the two culprits?
Let's start with the dead cat.
Who is it?
You.
What? What?
It's painfully easy to guess. Your world is the only one where the witch Beatrice doesn't exist.
I don't understand.
Both Maria and Jessica told me stories about the witch Beatrice. However, when they talked about the ranking system at the dining table, you weren't there.
I wasn't there.
Maria came to visit Rakinjima with Rosa. And Rosa was sitting next to her. That's impossible. If you exist, then Leon comes after Rosa, then Jessica, then Maria. There should be two people between Rosa and Maria in rank. In that case, they should be sitting on opposite sides of the table and separated by one seat. In other words, in a world where Leon exists, it's impossible for Maria to be sitting next to Rosa. It was the same in Jessica's story. If you were added to the ranking system, then looking down at the table towards Kinzo's seat, you should be on the left side and Jessica should be on the right. After that comes George on the left side and Angie on the right. Jessica and Angie will be sitting next to each other whether you're there or not. However, which side of the table they're sitting on changes. In a world where Leon exists, Angie's seat is on Jessica's left. However, if Leon doesn't exist, then Angie's seat is on Jessica's right. Every time someone talked about the witch Beatrice of 1986, they were all talking about a world where you don't exist. And in your world, there are no ghost stories about a witch. To you, Beatrice is either Kinzo's mistress or his benefactor, not a wandering ghost.
The head loved Beatrice deeply, did he not? I can't imagine why she would be made into a ghost story.
Exactly. If you exist, the witch Beatrice doesn't. Your existence kills Beatrice.
Are you saying I'm the culprit who killed Beatrice? That's just crazy. How can I be the culprit if I don't even understand her and have never met her?
Flip it around. If you don't exist, Beatrice will be born.
Flip it. Are you trying to say Beatrice and I are two sides of a coin?
That's a good way to put it. That's it exactly. You're a coin and Beatrice is on the other side.
I don't get it at all.
At first I didn't get your existence either. But I formed a theory about you after hearing all this. The key is that you're 19 years old.
I don't remember telling you my age, but you got it right. How?
Jessica said you're already a student council vice president, and when she joined your school, and then you became the president next year. That means you're 1 year older than Jessica. Jessica is 18 years old, so Leon must be 19.
I see. And what sort of theory can you make now that you know I'm 19?
The theory is that I can make is that you aren't Ushiro and Miya Natsuhi's child.
How rude. I don't know what game you're playing, but I won't allow you to insult both me and my mother like that.
But why are you the successor instead of Kraus?
I will succeed the headship when I come of age. When I have a kid, I'll probably pass the title down to them when they come of age.
Then why didn't Kinzo give the headship to Kraus when he came of age?
You heard what our head said. He was used to the cunning elders of the Ushimiya family and suffered much.
B?
Sorry, hello?
I can hear you now.
Yeah,
There we go. Okay. And that's why he decided that only young people should inherit the headship from now.
In the world without you in it, there is no silver ring for the successor. That silver ring proves that Kinzo had a strong desire, which he didn't show in any other world. To see you became the next head.
I can't deny you may have a point there. The head always seemed to adore me particularly. And I was very young when he promised to make me the head when I came of age. He was very strict when he told me to keep up my studies in preparation for that day. But I don't think my father was any less talented. Why did grandfather skip over him and make me the successor? I've thought it strange from time to time, but since it's always been that way, I never said so out loud.
Did you know why Kinzo wanted you and not Kraus to become the next head?
How could I know? Are you trying to tell me to stop neglecting the heart again? Do you think you understand how the head's heart works?
It's because you're the child of Kinzo and Beatrice.
Well done.
There was a crisp applause and a mocking laugh.
Bryn Castell.
That was faster than I expected. I thought you'd let me play a bit longer.
Berncastle appeared, sitting on the altar, almost as though it had become her own personal chair.
When did you realize that Leon shared Beatrice's blood?
As soon as I realized that Leon was only 19. It was the same number as the baby from 19 years ago, the hint that appeared in the 5th game.
Didn't that baby fall off a cliff?
Leon is the baby who was accepted by Natsui and didn't fall off a cliff. In other words, if Natsui rejects the baby, Leon doesn't exist.
You're saying I'm not mom's child? That's insane.
You say that, but you don't look too sure. That's right. Ushiromiya Leon is not Natsuhi's child. This is the grown-up version of the baby Kenzo got from somewhere 19 years ago.
Not somewhere. Leon clearly shares Beatrice's blood. The proof is the silver ring, which is only ever given to Leon across all of the many worlds.
Why does the ring prove that I share Beatrice's blood?
In all the many worlds, you're the only one who receives it. That means in all the worlds, you are the most important person to Kenzo, second only to Beatrice. And his love for you is clearly greater than it is for his son, Kraus, or his granddaughter, Jessica. And you are 19 years old. In other words, if we look back to see what happened 19 years ago, it could lead to a certain theory.
19 years ago? What's supposed to have happened at that time I was born?
You heard it too, didn't you? You even heard it today. And Will was with you, right?
You don't mean Aunt Rosa's story?
That's right. Rosa's story came out in the 3rd game, and when the age of the baby in the 5th game matched that date, a certain theory became possible. The fact that Kenzo brought a baby from somewhere and tried to add it to his family proves that the baby was somehow important to him.
And I'm the child of Kuadorian Beatrice.
The Kuadorian Beatrice was the daughter of the Beatrice who arrived in the submarine. The Kenzo didn't think of her as a daughter. He believed she was the same person Beatrice reborn. When that reborn Beatrice reached the same age as the first Beatrice and truly looked like Beatrice's double, Kenzo made a terrible mistake.
God fucking damn it.
I don't want to hear it.
That's how it is. Kenzo got Beatrice pregnant with Beatrice. And then he got that Beatrice pregnant with you. So you're both Kenzo's child and Beatrice's grandchild.
If we consider Kenzo's heart, this is the inevitable theory we reach for explaining why he treated you so specially. He regretted his mistake so much that he tried to make you his proper grandchild.
In almost all cases, Natsuhi's pride is brutally hurt, and she refuses to raise Leon. Because of that, you almost always fall from the cliff and disappear.
I heard that I was the child they were finally blessed with after so long. And that Jessica was born the next year.
If you really never suspected that Natsui wasn't your mother, then you should thank her in this world. The reason you never realized the truth is because she's shown as much affection to you as she did to Jessica.
There's no need to thank her. After all, it took a dizzying span of time just to find a fragment with you in it. Mathematically speaking, there's actually a... What number?
2,578,916.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
A 2,578,916 over 2,578,917 chance of her refusing to raise you. You should probably be thanking me for creating this miracle, not Natsuhi.
Enough with your stupid probability games.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No matter whose blood you bear, that doesn't change the debt you owe to the family that raised you.
I realize that. Still, I would like some time to calm down and think things through. That is, if you'll refrain from ignoring my heart.
Sure.
Leon took a deep breath and looked upward. Anyone would be shocked to find that their parents weren't who they believed them to be. Still, Leon should be grateful. Grateful was the family that raised a child who wanted for nothing.
It's pretty interesting. Hard to believe that the Golden Witch Beatrice might have lived such an ordinary life. To even such absurdly low probabilities.
Isn't it? I think moments like this are hilarious.
That's
Will
the
has said
orange.
it plainly, I know. Assure me, O Leon, is how the Golden Witch Beatrice appears in a different world. The baby Natsuhi rejected 19 years previous. If she accepted that child in the future, then this is the future that would have occurred. However, if she doesn't accept that child, the witch will be born. The baby whose birth was not celebrated becomes a witch.
Leon is a dead cat. However, Leon's existence has nothing to do with what you're interested in. The Rakunjima sealed murders. In other words, Leon is the cat that disappears when you open the cat box.
Exactly. Leon is just a disappearing cat. But this was pretty fun for a side trip, don't you think?
You're the only one having fun. If I wasn't trapped here, I wouldn't even be worrying about reasoning this out.
I think I know why I was chosen to be your partner in this strange detective game. It seems this witch Birkenstell enjoys toying with people's fates and sneering at them.
Wow, incredible. It's rare for someone to understand me on the day we meet.
Apparently, I've become something that gets called a witch in another world. And apparently I'm the cause of some sort of crime. Is that my sin?
It's no sin of yours. You are you. How things would be if a coin were flipped the other way isn't your problem.
Thank you. Even so, I don't think anyone would be pleased to hear that they caused some sort of trouble in a world of a different fate. Please tell me. What did I do in that other world?
Burn Castell?
Should we show the fragments to this kid?
Will opened his hand and something like that looked like a pale blue, glowing shard of a crystal appeared there. It was a memory. No, a game record. Of all the games so far.
Touch this. You'll be able to see your fate in the other worlds.
Your face is telling me that I'd be happy if I didn't touch it.
Of course. You probably guessed, but the story here isn't a happy one.
Even so. Even if it's another world, it's still about me.
You have both the right to know and the right not to know. If you can convince yourself that the one similar to yet different from you is a separate person, then touch it.
Don't you want to know? About the fate you might have reached.
I asked this as your partner. Would you show that to me?
As a partner, I'd say look. But as a friend, I say don't.
Unfortunately, I'm not your friend.
Then as a partner, I have one last question.
What?
Are you a boy or a girl?
Well, that was abrupt.
I could see you as a fairly slender boy, but then again, I can also see you as a no-nonsense sort of girl. Even Burn Castell has been intentionally keeping it a secret. She made Jessica call you our successor-sama at all time, instead of Nissan or Nason.
You are quick.
People often ask me about my gender, so I always give them the same irritated response. Which do I look like to you?
In the 5th game, you're supposed to be a boy. But in many other games, you thought it was a girl. In the 6th game, where Shirmia Battler was the master, 2 demons of different sexes appear, but we didn't know which one was which. In fact, strictly speaking, it started all the way back in the very first game. Your gender is one of the hidden mysteries that exist outside the games themselves.
I'd hate to give you an answer so easily, so I won't. We're partners, right? Does it really matter if I'm not the gender you prefer?
You're right. If we're working together on this, I don't care what your gender is.
Thank you. I've developed a bit of a complex about it, so I'm glad to hear you say that.
I'm all for gender equality. If someone's a waste of space, I'll smack them no matter who they are.
And of course, I'll pinch rude people no matter what gender they are.
Slowly, Leon reached out and touched the fragment. A moment later, Leon seemed to undergo a violent bout of dizziness, and suddenly slumped over like a puppet with its strings cut. It was no surprise. When people who don't understand parallel universes and have many different fates jammed into their heads, they tend to feel like their brains are swelling and their sense of self is melting away. Leon seems to have lost consciousness.
So, Leon had what it took to learn everything.
A perfect piece to be your partner, wouldn't you say?
I'll continue my reasoning. I've talked about the dead cat.
Very true. Next up is the living cat.
The only one who can kill Beatrice of 1986 is the one who created her.
There are tons of hints. If you think about it, they've been coming since back when Beatrice was running the games.
That's true. In the fourth game between Beatrice and Battler, Beatrice's origin became clear. And at that point, I learned who Beatrice was, and about that person's heart.
What do you mean by heart?
The motive. The reason why Beatrice had to commit a game-like crime on October 5th, 1986. Putting even her own fate on the line.
Impressive. So, you figured out the whodunit and the whydunit as early as the fourth game. Then, what about the howdunit?
Once you know who the culprit is, theorizing about the howdunit isn't impossible. Those linked closed rooms in the third game were a pretty nice job. Almost made me feel like applauding.
In the Who Am I? From the end of the fourth game?
The culprit who can kill everyone on 24 and on October 5th, no matter where they are. By that moment, it's possible to form a certain sort of hypothesis. You might call it the other treasure of the Golden Land.
Oh. So, you say you can reach all of the answers by the fourth game? In other words, with just Beatrice's games?
It's possible. After that, Lambda Delta's game and Battler's game were filled with even more hints. As is this game of yours.
Well now, why don't you stop stalling for time and just tell me? Who is the culprit?
At that moment, though there hadn't been anyone but them in the chapel, small footsteps rang out. That silhouette slowly walked up to Will and Burncastle, and gave a small bow.
So you've come.
Did you call this person here?
Yeah. Who done it? How done it? And why done it? I've understood this person's motive.
And are you going to give up just because he's found your motive? There's no concrete evidence, right? You could make a flashy fight of it with red and blue.
That's not what this person wants anymore.
They nodded slightly.
Oh!
Their wish was to be noticed. Once that happened, they had no need for trivial excuses or pointless word games.
I believe that I understand your motive. Your heart. I'm going to describe it now. I called you here to listen and correct me in your own words if I've gotten anything wrong.
The two of them nodded to each other once more.
In your 4 games, I found your message. And in the 3 games with different masters, I was able to picture the strange sort of fate they must have toyed with your life. It left me speechless. In every game, you die without revealing that truth to anyone.
Having this person confess in the empty chapel might be pointless.
However, even so, I believe it'll give her some sort of salvation. People are only saved when someone understands them. No one understood this pitiful witch even after her death, even years later, including the man she wanted to understand her the most. It's about time someone forgave her. At the end of the 5th game, Balor finally understood. However, it took him so long, and he didn't make it in time. So even though she's alive here and now, Battler cannot save her. So Battler isn't here at Beatrice's funeral. He won't come. He won't make it in time. This is Beatrice's funeral. You will confess. The Divine Master will hear. And I will forgive you. That's supposed to be Battler's job, but he didn't make it in time. So you'll have to settle it for me.
And Beato gave Battler so many hints, too. Lambda also gave that idiot a ton of hints. I even got a good laugh in at Battler's game of repentance for missing so much. But I won't make anyone laugh. I'll just dispassionately carry out your funeral.
No more talking from you. That's my job. If you're ready, then let's begin. No one will rush you. Burncastle is closed off time for eternity until your funeral ends. Said the line. Oh, there. You have as much time as you need to prepare yourself emotionally.
The silhouette slowly shook its head. It had come here because it was already prepared. Will nodded to show he understood, and the two looked into Berncastle's eyes, and Will spoke out clearly.
This is the culprit.
Yeah.
And we're gonna stop right there. Just kidding.
Alright, so here's the thing really quickly. Like, this is it. There's not going to be pretty much any room for, like, actual probable theory crafting from this point onward.
I mean, at this point, let's just keep going. Like, I mean, like, most of the stuff is probably going to be redundant that I wanted to bring up. Like, there was stuff I could bring up before,
Oh!
but it's probably
Who
not
are
gonna
you?
They're just not a point now.
Alright, Gons. This is Beatrice, but quite monotone and deadpan.
So, Beatrice but monotone.
Yes.
Yes.
Deep voice or...
Normal voice. but
Standard.
like a robot.
Standard.
Alright.
Standard.
Listen. I am one, yet many. What I speak here is our tale. However, this is a small world, sealed by glass and cork, with no one to hear. None shall lay eyes upon it, and my entire tale shall be sealed away. Set adrift in the sea of my heart until it disappears amongst the seaweed.
Where is this place? And who am I?
Then let me ask. Where do you want to be? Who do you want to be?
Any place, so long as it will wrap itself around me gently. Anyone, so long as I am treated kindly.
Yes, for us.
For us.
Where we are
And who we are.
hardly matters.
Correct. For us, it's such a trivial matter. At least until that day comes to pass. Why we must be thrown in the path of a new fate. Fate's pronouncement was sudden and abrupt.
It wasn't the fate I wished for.
But it did make your heart pound.
Where will this new fate take me?
It doesn't matter where.
So long as that place is...
kind to us.
When we were brought to the temporary dwelling where sad, parentless children gather, was that a sign of God's salvation, or a lure into the demon's game where the new fate would torment us? We have no way of knowing. And yet, we want to believe. We want to believe it was God's salvation sent to us, a sign of the good news, the gospel.
But why me? I have no religion.
Then it wasn't the gospel, but a demon's lure.
And yet, we cannot go against fate. Oh, I am one, yet many. I pray that the new fate brings us blessing. This time is 1976 AD in April. At a time still too cool to be called spring. In a strange new land, we were tormented by the same stale air and draft.
Okay.
Act 1, A New Life. Turn to your page on the itinerary now.
Ooh, there's half day.
Those are family rules. They may be strict, but I believe that the discipline you'll learn in this house will serve you well in the future.
Three servants. Just like generic ones.
Yes, madam.
Yes, madam.
Yes, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Is this...
I think technically this is Khan doing the narration.
I don't think so. I think...
Oh, really? Oh, well, here.
Yeah. Because this...
Should I do it, or...?
I don't mind doing it.
No, but there's specific... I think... I guess I'll do it for now.
Yeah,
until it becomes more
Randy,
clear.
do it.
Yeah, alright. I'm at.
The servants who will start working this April all called out in unison. The rules of the Shirime family are no more or less strict than those of the Fukuin house. However, we get paid a lot of money here. They also give us a lot of help in finding our next job. We work with the Shirime family, store up money, use their influence to get a job at a good company, and set on a new happy life. That was the dream. It was a very realistic one, held by all of us at the Fukuin house. However, not everyone can become a Shirime family servant. Only kids with a record of exemplary conduct and good grades are recommended. So, all of the kids who want to be sure of leaving the Fukuin house to live a happy life are feverishly devoted to their studies. That's enough for today. Tomorrow you start early. Make sure the lights are all out at the appropriate time. That is all.
Yes, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
After bowing until Nazi was no longer in sight, the new servants all followed the lead of one of the more experienced servants and raised their heads.
Okay, we are done for the day. Starting tomorrow, you'll be following your shift schedule. The madam is very strict about the time. If any of you sleep in, you'll be my responsibility. So if you do, I'll kick you awake. Got it?
Of course, this experienced servant was one of the more older girls from the Fukuin house. She's been here for 2 years, apparently. That's probably why all the other servants, the new ones who are older than me, seem to know her well.
That madam looks so strict. Just
Dang, I'm tired.
various voices.
Giggle.
By the way, who exactly is this kid? Why were you chosen to be a servant?
The elder servant pointed at me and asked the room at large, a dubious look on her face. It's no surprise, really. Most of us become servants when we graduate middle school or high school. But I'm just starting elementary school. The others will be working as servants every day of the week according to the standard shift schedule. However, on weekdays, I was going to the elementary school on Jima with my lady. Only working on weekends and when I had free time. It was an exception among exceptions, something that had never happened before. It was clear at a glance that the others would obtain their positions after a rigorous selection process. Didn't like the fact that I was here too.
Both Madam and Genji-sama have told me that you are put in your studies first. But you're still getting paid. Doesn't make any sense.
If you're going to talk behind someone's back, at least do it behind them. She didn't even try to hide her discontent.
Is this kid really...
I'm not sure, actually. This doesn't have the name on it.
I mean, it hasn't had the name thus far.
No, but I mean, this doesn't... Oh, right, you're right, sorry. Oops.
Okay, should I go?
Go.
Yeah.
Go, Josh. Go.
Is this kid really that smart? A child prodigy or something?
AC.
I've never heard anything about that.
Well, that kid supposedly gets sick easily and is kept isolated most of the time. Total outsider to the rest of us, even back at the house.
Now that you're here, you're a part of the collective responsibility system. If you screw up, it's the same as everyone from the Fukuen house screwing up. Make sure you don't, okay?
I nodded weakly. I'd never been threatened by someone this much older than me, and I was very frightened. Don't worry. I'll be there with you. Let's give it our all together. Okay? Shannon smiled at me as she spoke.
Isn't Shannon scared too? This house is pretty strict.
Nah, there's nothing scary about it. You just thought it was scary, so it got scary.
Then if I thought it was fun, would it get fun?
Yeah, it would. So here, deal. Let's give it our all with a smile.
Shannon was my only friend in the Fukuen house. She was confident and popular. The complete opposite of me. I was embarrassingly dull-witted, and no one wanted to be my friend. I would never have made it those days in the Fukuen house had it not been for her encouragement. So, I would probably make it through here too with her by my side.
Well, isn't it about time we got ready for bed? I've got work early tomorrow morning, but you have a different job.
That's right. Like everyone else, I have to go to school. When I spend the night on Rokejima, I have to get ready for school and wait for Milady at the dock.
Milady looks like an energetic person. I hope you get along well.
Do you think I will? I'm so scared of school, so nervous.
I had grown used to life in the Fukuen house, so the more relaxed rules at school made life easy. But until I grew used to it, everything was new, and everything made me nervous.
My new life on Rokejima probably deserves an explanation. It was completely different from the comfortable yet stagnant life I'd lived at Fukuen house. In addition to the time I spent as a servant of the Shiromiya family on Rokejima, I also traveled to the elementary school in Ijima on school days. It was the start of a time that was both rushed and busy, with hardly a moment to relax. Unlike the time I spent at the Fokuin house, I didn't get to sleep in the same bed every day. Half of the week, I slept in the servant waiting room in the Rokenjima mansion. I would return from school with my lady, go to the mansion, and work there as a servant. I would then stay the night and go to school with my lady again the next day. When I didn't have work, I would return to the dormitory on Nijima, where I could have some time to myself in the room that I was assigned to. There was an adult dorm mother who strictly controlled mealtimes and lights out. But I was already used to that sort of life, so it wasn't hard for me. The rooms were slightly larger than average and housed 3 people each. However, either because of the number of people or some lucky chance, I was not given a 3-person room. Looks like we'll share a dorm room too. With Shannon by my side, I felt like I'd be able to manage well enough. Correct. Every year, new servants came from the Fukuin house, replacing some of the old ones.
It was something Father worked out with the house all on his own. The rest of us weren't allowed to meddle.
After all, our family would strictly discipline its children without families and support them on their path to adulthood, which I always viewed as the richest Rumia family fulfilling its obligations to society. What set of kids came to save the Shumia family?
I'm sure they were serious. Cute kids of irreproachable conduct.
It seemed to me that there were a lot of glaring hyenas among them.
Let us say they had high ambitions. They were pitiable children without families. All were determined to use this rare opportunity to launch their careers so that they could take control of their lives.
Did all of them have to balance school and servant work?
That must be tough. You wouldn't be able to get much work done.
Before that child, there were no cases of a servant going to school where they worked.
To be honest, I was fairly surprised when that kid first came to greet me. So obviously young. The others were all around 16 or 18 years old, but that kid alone looked 10 years younger.
That extraordinary young servant came to the family mainly for experience. So not much was expected of the child's ability as a servant.
Indeed. You certainly couldn't rely on that kid as much as you could an adult, seasoned servant.
To think that we would accept a child who hadn't even started school. No knowledge of housework, no practical experience, not even finished with mandatory education. I don't know what Father was thinking, but I always thought there was something clearly odd about it.
I spoke to Father about it. I asked if it might be better to wait for this servant to graduate middle school before starting here.
And what did Kinzo say?
Come on, we all know what he said.
Come on together. Whoa!
Oh, Beatrice!
By that time, he was already a complete shut-in inside his study, obsessed with the occult. If you tried to talk to him when he didn't want you to, he'd yell and tell you to stop interrupting the journey of his mind.
And father's decisions are absolute. However, the case of this particular child just didn't make sense.
I even asked the Fukuin house about it. They said to ask Genji-san. I then asked Genji-san, and he said to ask the master.
And then when you asked the master, he said Beatrice!
No one knows the truth.
Jessica was the only child on the island. The servants would often play with my daughter, but she wanted a friend of her own age. Someone she could play with at home as well as at school.
I began to think her father employed his servant out of pity for Jessica. If that were the case, why wouldn't he talk to us about it beforehand? We should be the ones who decide which friends are suitable for our daughter. Scary.
Natsui must have really hated taking her kid out in public.
We should probably be this an arrangement plan by Genji.
Probably. Genji-san knew that the me in this world carried grandfather's blood. So he probably arranged for that me to be summoned to Rokenjima.
I'm feeling okay now.
It was a really big shock, that's all. I just feel a bit dizzy now.
In this world, you're the successor. But if we move to a different world, you're a servant, or maybe a witch. You do have a troubled fate.
No kidding. I don't regret learning about it, but if I could forget it now, I would.
Isn't it interesting? Even though you're a servant, you're actually an illegitimate child of the head. Isn't that romantic, like some fairy tale?
Romantic? Considering how Mom must have felt, I'm not sure what to think.
True. In Natsuhi's eyes, the Leon of this world is nothing more than the baby she hated and was forced to raise. And in this world, she rejected that child. Natsuhi must adore her natural child Jessica a bunch more. A baby that doesn't share your blood is nothing more than a dirty, lukewarm sack of filth.
Have some decency. Next time I'll be the one pitching your butt.
Oh, come at me.
Thank you, Will. I think I understand more or less. And that's exactly why I need to be grateful to my mother. She raised me fairly all these years.
Though is the probability so low, it'd take a miracle to happen. Animals are always brutal towards children that don't carry their blood. Lions do that too, don't they?
You can probably sketch out Kenji's line of thinking. The Leon of this world is a true blood-related member of the Shiramiya family. You must have wanted to let that child live on Arkijima somehow. However, it wasn't as though he could just suddenly show up with Leon and tell everyone who this was.
Yeah. Maybe he wanted me to live on the island until I was used to it, and then reveal everything when the chance presented itself.
However, the Leon of this world was not given any special treatment. The silver ring doesn't actually exist.
I wonder if that means grandfather never heard about me.
That might mean that Genji will never found a good opportunity to reveal the truth.
Genji must have wanted to tell the truth one day. To tell that the orphan of Kinzo's beloved Beatrice was still alive. However, that was not an easy thing to say.
Why wasn't it easy?
Dummy, what would happen if they found out?
Oh right, if Leon suddenly appeared, Jessica wouldn't be the successor anymore.
I believe this is orange.
Strictly speaking, Jessica wasn't the successor, but since she'd be able to select the future successor, it all came to the same thing.
The more one learns, the less simple this tale becomes. There were some who celebrated my birth and some who did not. Genji could only wait in silence for the proper day to reveal it all.
Was it a tale hidden only within Genji's heart?
Leon and Kinzo, Natsu and Krause and Jessica and everyone else! None of them knew this tale.
Thus, the curtains slowly rise on this curious tale in the year 1976. Oh, I am one, yet many. Why must fate abandon us and continue on its merry way?
The people only found the young servant strange for the first month. Natsume and Krause's protest came to naught. After all, there was no actual harm in it. So why not indulge Kinzo's whim? Eventually everyone grew accustomed and began to accept this slightly abnormal everyday life.
However, it was not so for the other Fukuin servants, who were always close by and who believed that everyone should be treated equally. Their small bits of discontent over my special treatment began to accumulate as time went on.
Nice work, Swatchy. How'd it go today?
Sawachi.
Madam was really pissed off. She was like running her fingers across the windowsills.
Yeah, and getting a Tadachi's case for cleaning slow. Come on, give us a break.
All the kids of the Fukuin house are opposite with each other as family. Because of this, everyone hides their original names and uses their new blessed names. Maybe because the character is in the world Fukuin. That character is almost always combined with at least one character from the child's original name to make their new name. Still, just giving a person a new name doesn't mean they'll accept it so easily. Boys and girls who have lived in isolation and through various trials. sometimes feel as though their real first and last names are a bond that's worth holding on to. So, most of the Fukuin children hate the Onin names, killing each other by nicknames based on their original names. Of course, it's only done privately. When in the presence of the house director or other important people, only the blessed names are used. On the job, the blessed names are used. When off the job, informal nicknames are used. Everyone's very used to living with two names like this, so they're all comfortable with how the system works.
Another random servant girl.
Oh, you stink! Go take a shower!
Dang, why is it always so cramped in here? Can't they use a bigger dorm if they have that huge mansion?
Higurashi-san! Why is Yasu the only one who isn't in a 3-person room?
By Yasu, they probably mean me. I can't remember my parents at all since they were gone as far back as my memory goes. But I was given the last name Yasuda. And apparently my nickname comes from that.
How should I know? Genji-sama is the one who decides the rooms. I don't like it either. Yeah, seriously. We normally go 2 and 2. Is that me?
Just random person. They did
I
the
think
vote.
third person.
I mean, who exactly is Yasu anyway?
It looks like that kid's job is going to school with Milady or something. So what? Is being a school friend a profession now? Doesn't make any sense.
Of course, on days I am given work. I return to the mansion right after school and work alongside all the others. I help out with caring for the garden and cleaning up the mansion. I can't do any jobs on my own, so I'm always just helping out. Maybe because I'm young, the adult servants are always kind to me. My fellow Fukuin servants don't seem too happy about that, though.
Don't you think Kumasawa-san's obviously soft on Yasu-san? Yasu. It's like she's mistaking Yasu for your own grandchild or something.
And why on earth does that kid get paid the same as the rest of us? I don't get it.
I realize that you have school to worry about. But don't forget that you're a servant too, okay? You need to stop being a helper and learn to do work by yourself like the rest of us. We aren't going to let you take it easy forever, okay?
I have been trying my best. However, I'm not very strong yet, so I can't carry heavy things. I can't carry a lot of things either. I can't fold clothes right, and I'm not good at using a dustpan. I just can't do it as well as everyone else. As my face turned red, I spotted Shannon, who was watching from the silence and not joining in. Shannon is my only ally. Unlike me, she can do everything well. However, she'll never pamper me. She'll show me how things are done, but she'll never steal my jobs from me. She really is incredible. I really want to be like Shannon as soon as I can. She never talks behind people's backs, and no one ever talks behind her back. She's kind, and she always gets along with everyone. I want to be like her. and she's always kindly watching over my efforts to become like her. Why did I end up here? I don't know. Though I just been muttering to Though I just been muttering to the ceiling, Shannon gave me an honest answer. I guess there's no way to say it except it's part of God's plan. Is this another test from God? Yep. Think of it as a test to help you grow into a wonderful human being. After all, you're a special, chosen person. Am I special? Of course you are. After all, everyone here is huge, but you were the only one special enough to be chosen young. Why am I the only one who's little? I can't do any jobs by myself. Everyone complains that I'm just here to play with Milady. And yet, Madame made it clear that I'm not to think of Milady as a friend or speak to her in a casual manner. You may be 10 years younger than everyone else, but that means if you keep it up until you're the same age as the others, you'll be much more experienced than the new people who come later. Even Genji-sama will acknowledge your talents, and you'll become a leader who can teach the new kids who come from the Fukuin house. And then I'm sure that everyone will respect you. By that time, even Madame and the Master and Kurasama will acknowledge your skills. That's your future. You mean like the ugly duckling becoming a swan? That might be it. After all, it was very unusual for you to be chosen as an Ushiromia family servant. In fact, that rumor might be true. And you might be the secret child of someone in the Ushiromia family. Shannon laughed, saying, wouldn't that be cool, and then you'd be super rich too. But that didn't seem quite right to me. After all, if that was the case, why have I had to live all alone here in the Fukuin house? Shannon and people like the house director are the only ones who will play with me. I don't have any other friends to play with, and I've spent all my time by myself in my isolated room. Maybe it's because I'm frail and always sleep a lot, but it has been lonely. Hey, Genji! Exactly how much did you know?
You never talk about anything, but you've known everything since the beginning, haven't you? 19 years ago. You heard from Natsui that a servant had fallen off a cliff holding a baby.
You went to the bottom of that cliff and realized that the baby was still alive, didn't you?
I was not qualified to determine whether it was alive or dead.
Then who was?
The doctor, of course. What did you
What
say,
did you
Dr.
say,
Nanjo?
Dr. Nanjo? Holy shit.
Are you certain? Is it alright for me to speak?
If you are willing to tell the story yourself, then I ask it of you.
Very well.
I was contacted. Wait, is this him narrating?
Yes.
Yes.
I was contacted by Kenshi-san immediately after the accident and asked to conduct an examination in secrecy.
In secrecy?
Why?
Both the Beatrice of Koadorian and her child were undisturbed people who weren't supposed to exist. It would lead to various problems if it went public.
I had started the procedures to have the baby registered, but they were not complete at the time. It was a very unfortunate time for the baby to die.
So, the seventh who fell was treated as having died alone in the accident?
Not so he wouldn't talk to anyone. It would have been easy to set up.
But that baby was alive, wasn't it?
Correct. Of course, the child was gravely injured. It was a miracle that it could survive the wound. If the ankle had been slightly different, or if Genji-san had been any slower in carrying the baby to me, that baby only managed to survive thanks to the series of miracles.
I had given up. I didn't believe the baby would have survived that.
But it did.
How strong and resilient is life?
No, this is fate.
Fate! So the baby was fated to live on and eventually accomplish something great?
Yes. I did think it was fate. I thought the blood of the Kuodorian Beatrice-sama, whose life ended on Rukenjima, must have imparted something onto the child to make it survive.
However, Genji did not tell his master Kinzo that the child had survived. He simply said that it had fallen to its death in an unfortunate accident. Kinzo mourned, but his mourning was more one of madness than of sorrow.
Oh, Beatrice! Why have you run away from me once more?
Why? Even though I swore I'd never make the same mistake again. Why?
There was one matter in which Genji did not trust the master he so respected. That matter was whether Kinzo would be capable of accepting Beatrice's grandchild as her grandchild. Genji had served the Kuwadori and Beatrice for many years as well. He was very aware of what she had felt. He knew that she had been accepted the favor Kinzo had bestowed on her and respected him as a father. However, her love was not the same as Kinzo's love. Kinzo thought her to be Beatrice reborn, and tried to use her to satisfy the many feelings he had felt for the late Beatrice. Of course, the Kuwadorian Beatrice could not accept those feelings. In the end, she had her chastity stolen by the one she thought of as her only family and respected as a father.
She thought he was her father, and he thought she was his wife.
Oh, what irreconcilable, forbidden love.
This is not to say that I was incapable of understanding how Kinzo-sama felt. At the moment of her birth, even he did not plan on taking advantage of her, due to her resemblance to the late Beatrice-sama.
He even spoke to me about it a few times when we were drinking. I always thought he was just joking.
Was he surprised to find that the daughter grew to look more and more like the mother?
As the daughter grew, did he suffer from a forbidden emotion he couldn't suppress?
I thought that he might commit the same mistake again. That was my view. Beatrice-sama suffered much. And yet, she never truly understood the difference between her feelings and Kinzo's. Beatrice-sama consulted me many times, laying bare her deepest feelings. However, I was unable to tell her.
That would be hard to say.
Imagine telling that the one you respect as a father wants to use her as a replacement for a dead mother.
Let me say this for the sake of Kinzo-san's honor. He also suffered greatly. It pained him when he found out that he could no longer think of his daughter as his daughter.
You're not helping.
I told him to love her as a father. I think Kinzo-san followed his logic and his conscience, and fought for quite some time.
Biko.
Kinzo loved her. He poured his affection onto the daughter that Beatrice had left behind. He did so as a father. And yet, if so, why did he give the daughter the same name as the mother? Yes, Kinzo's sin started from the moment she received life. She was born, and Beatrice died. He passed the name down from mother to daughter. From the moment of her birth, Kinzo had already decided that she was Beatrice reborn.
So then, we get Leon. Kinzo is trying to atone for his sin. Trying to make Leon a proper member of the Shirimiya family.
Exactly. I get the feeling I'll get my butt pinched if I talk about other fragments. But what if there was a fragment where Leon is accepted and Kinzo commits the same sin again? Want to see if we can find one of those?
Who would want to see something like that? Is this your job, mixing up the worst possible delusions and possibilities for every part of a person's life and sneering at them?
Unfortunately, that's the sort of demon she is.
How rude. I'm a witch.
Genji foresaw that the worst of all possible futures, and trying to secure a better future, he had intentionally lied about the baby being dead.
Right. Ginzo was a man so impulsive that he used his own daughter. Genji, who knew Beatrice's feelings and felt sympathy for her, couldn't trust Kinzo so easily.
Even Genji, Kinzo's most devoted servant.
Genji draws a clear line between the professional and the personal. While he served Kinzo faithfully, he also felt that the mistake Kinzo had made with his daughter was not one to be forgiven easily.
Could it be? And to make sure Leon wouldn't be found out easily, Genji had lied about the kid's age, lowering it by 3 years.
That's a good point. In this world, I'm just entering elementary school in 1976. I was actually supposed to become a 4th year then.
If your frailness wasn't the reason, then Genji must have been careful to disguise the year of your birth. Not only Kinzo, but also Natsui, who wouldn't easily forget the baby from 19 years ago. If a suspiciously young servant of that age came to the island, Natsui's woman's intuition would have definitely picked up on it.
Had the child been too sick to go to school for 3 years? Or had the age been faked so that Natsuhi wouldn't figure everything out?
Either way, we know that your age has been lowered by 3 in this world.
Correct? The age of this world's Leon has been altered by 3. This is a small, feeble kid we're talking about. An underdeveloped kid. It would have been more possible to pull off than you'd think.
Genji decided to wait and see. In the end, would Kinzo be able to accept Beatrice's child as an actual child, or not? He had the child live in the Fukuin house until a suitable age, then summon the child to the island as a servant. Both father and child had no clue who the other was. Genji had an idea. If Kinzo truly felt affection as a parent, he would notice traces of that deceased mother and daughter in this child. That way, they would surely regain their parent-child relationship without anyone having to expose the truth to them. That's what he thought. Or perhaps the time might come naturally. When that happened, he could tell the truth to both father and child. Believing that this day would eventually come, Genji told nothing of this to anyone. He watched over Beatrice's child, waiting for the fated day.
And time continued to pass. Days slid by as he quietly watched over Beatrice's child. Act 2.
Page 2 of the syllabus.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yasu, what did you do with the small broom?
Didn't you use it to clean the window frames? The small broom is a little thin broom that looks like a large paintbrush. We use it to clear the dust in small corners like the window frames. It's one of the cleaning tools I was put in charge of.
Come on, that's your responsibility. What have you been doing, idiot?
Quickly, go and find it. You have to do it before Madame finds out.
What's up?
Yasu lost the small broom again. The kid must be some sort of genius at losing things. Ugh. That's why I'm always telling you, never give things to Yasu. Yasu's always careless in losing things.
Don't say that. Can't you see that this kid's working hard? Go on, hurry and find it. It'll wait for you.
I'll wait for you.
Oh, I'll wait for you. Okay. Not wanting to hear my fellow servants complain even more, I spun around and headed off. If you lose a tool, you get in trouble. If no one knows who did it, we all get yelled at. So one of them would probably tell Madame that it was my fault. Still, it really is my fault that I lost it in the first place. I wonder when I lost it. When we cleaned the entire chapel today. The chapel is a large building behind the mansion. However, no one ever goes near it normally. Even so, we are ordered to clean it a few times each year. Kinzo called it a sacred building, so Nazo is very strict about it. We'd cleaned every little nook and cranny from top to bottom. It had taken all day. I had been in charge of cleaning the window frames, but I had also been given many smaller tasks. All those small jobs were keeping me busy. I completely forgot about a small broom. And I must have left it lying around somewhere. I began to hate myself for it. This isn't the first time this has happened. It happens all the time. Every time I set something down, it always disappears. It goes somewhere else, vanishes. I thought it was probably the witch, Beatrice, pranking me. The ghost of the witch gained power from Kenjima's evil spirits and was reborn. Until Kumasawa told me, I never knew the meaning of the shrine of the rock on the rocks by the sea.
Kumasawa told an old tale, passed down among the local fishermen. Rokenjima used to be known as Akujigishima, and terrible evil spirits who ate human souls lived there.
Hey, Kumasawa. Let us hear too.
That's a scary tale of Rokenjima's evil spirits.
Give me a sec. Oh, very well, very well. Rokenjima was once called Akukishima.
Azukishima.
Azukishima, okay. However, even deeper in the distant past, it was known as Akukuji Kishima. It was rumored that the sailors who went too near the island were dragged down to the bottom of the sea and had their souls eaten. Yes, frightening spirits such as those do exist on the island.
It was Kumasawa's favorite ghost story. Every new servant who came to the island heard about it. Such stories are usually laughed off. But when stormy nights visited Rokkenjima, bringing an eerie howling to that lonely island where nothing exists except the Yoshirimiya mansion, everyone would listen meekly.
The shrine by the ghost was there to seal the evil spirits away.
And the master had that creepy occult hobby.
And the mansion was spooky, so it's easy to picture something hiding in the shadows.
True, true. The traveling Shukujenja monk was barely able. Shugenja monk was only barely able to suppress those spirits. The seal just managed to hold them, but to this very day they wander through the mansion night after night searching for a victim.
Oh dear.
I think I might have disconnected.
Yeah.
Have you seen the master's study?
I have! It's like some kind of demon laboratory.
There's a rumor about the master researching demons.
They also say he's been researching how to revive his mistress, Beatrice.
Didn't they say he was gathering children to be sacrifices for his magical experiments?
Wow, scary. What did you do if the master asked you to come into the study alone?
I heard that long ago one kid went into the study and never came out.
That must have been a victim of his experiment to give Beatrice's ghost a new body.
Very true. Beatrice Summer has become a ghost and wanders around searching for a body. The VIP room on the second floor is where Beatrice Summer dwells. You must always be respectful when cleaning that room. If you aren't... How was that?
It's good.
In the eyes of teenage boys and girls with their powerful imaginations, the ghost story was both terrifying and fascinating. It gave them a sense of solidarity, since they all got to experience the same tale. Then, that sharing became an obligation. And accepting the story became a rite of passage for joining the community. This was something that had been passed on since long ago.
That's right. Back when I first started working for Quentima, I heard that story from Kumasawa-san and the older servants.
I heard about it too, mostly from Nason.
I heard it too from Kumasawa-san mainly.
Fucking Christ!
So not only the timid-looking Shannon, but the boy Cannon and the big adult Koda believed in the ghost story?
Well, I didn't really.
There are tales of ghost stories and jinxes and all jobs. There were several stories at the sort of the hotel I once worked at.
So you thought it was silly and you didn't mind it at all?
I think there was a need to blend with the community.
That's it. Ghost stories and jinxes are the local rules of your workplace. If a newcomer breaks those rules, they can't expect to be welcomed in.
Exactly. If I said witches couldn't possibly exist, that whole idea was ridiculous, then I'd get into a fight with Nason. It was easier if I appeared to go along with it.
Come on, if you think that way, he'll be cursed. There was one servant who got seriously injured.
All workplaces have stories like that. No matter how incredible the ghost stories and tales about the company founder are, you accept and believe them. That means to blend in with your new workspace.
Wow.
Wow! Everyone's so mature. I went to each window around the chapel, and the order had cleaned them, searching carefully in all the places I might have left it. I had been cleaning the windows with it, so it had probably been set down near one of those. When did I leave it behind, I wonder? Now that I think about it, I don't think I had it anymore when I reached the last window. So I must have been completely forgotten to clean that window frame. Through the window, I could see the others leaving one after another. Shannon turned around and glanced up, looking worried. I don't want to be responsible for making everyone wait, so I'm actually glad they're leaving without me. If I said I wanted them to wait for me, I'd be relying on them too much. The sun's beginning to set, and the chapel's getting darker and darker. I don't want to hang around in a place like this all by myself. I'd better find a small room fast. No, that's not all. I also need to clean the window frames I forgot. Madame is strict. She'll probably check all the windows carefully. If she does, I'll be the one who gets in trouble tomorrow. But really, where did I lose it? Why did I lose it? The darkness grew and grew. When it became dark enough that I would need a light before long, I began to panic. I dashed around and around the chapel, tears streaming down my face. As I stumbled about pathetically, I could feel the presence of a prankster witch giggling at me from the crack of the door and gaps in the ceiling. The ghost of Beatrice, the master's mistress, wanders about in search of a body to this very day. And she absorbs the power of Kenjima's evil spirit. Her strength steadily grows and she waits for the day of her resurrection. And for some reason, she's speaking out at me. And if I ever take my eyes off of something for a second, she snatches it away and hides it. This isn't the first time this has happened. Whenever I look away, keys, handkerchiefs, pencils, erasers, all of them vanish almost right away. Even though I was planning to use them later or just wanted to put them in their proper place. They disappear as soon as I turn around. Isn't someone hiding them as a prank? It's happened many times when I'm the only person around. Everyone always says I'm too careless and forgetful, and they laugh at me, get mad at me. I do try to be alert, but like some kind of a bad joke, I lose things easily when I forget about them for just a short while. So sometimes I think this cemetery is gonna disappear sooner or later, and I stare at it. But at those times alone, it doesn't disappear. Nothing disappears when I'm alert. But as soon as I think I'm safe, and the tension relaxes just a bit, then something else will disappear. Why is it always me? Yeah, I hear you. I can tell that the witch is laughing at me as I lamely run around in circles. Listening to that voiceless laugh, I finally slammed my hands against the wall, crying tears of frustration. Please, just stop it. Why do you always hide my things and get me in trouble? And the witch answered,
Fool. Isn't it obvious? Why else to entertain myself by watching you wander around pointlessly?
I couldn't bear it. Even though I knew what she said was true, hearing it said incorrectly was incredibly annoying. I understand. A small room probably somewhere in this chapel. No, that's not quite it. I'm sure that the moment before I reached its window, it was right here on the windowsill. That's right. I'm sure I put it by this window. But the prankster witch Beatrice used her magic. And just before I reached this spot, she instantly teleported the small broom to the next window over. The instant I approached that window, a hole appeared beneath the small broom, swallowing it up. And it came out by the next window after that. It landed right inside it, as if it had been there the whole time. And this happened over and over again. As I ran up to that window, the small broom fell into the magic hole and went to the next window. And then when I went to that window, it went to the next window. And I realized that she was just making fun of me. So no matter how much I searched, it would be useless. But if I stop searching, it'll just be sitting there by one window or another. So this isn't a search. It's a test of endurance. I kept chasing after the small broom. And Beatrice kept making it escape to the next window over, trying to make me give up. This is an eternal chase that will only end when one of us gives up. So I kept going around and around, even to windows that I knew I'd already searched. If it's not by this one, then try the next one, and the next one. And the witch kept moving the small broom to the next window and the next. Just give it a rest. How long are you gonna make fun of me? This isn't the only time you always do this. The shrill, voiceless laugh of the formless witch continued to mock my sobbing. The witch is right beside me, laughing at me. As I dash around the chapel, she is following along with me, taunting me. Then she must be there. She's right behind me, just over my shoulder, still cackling away. I know that turning around won't help since she has no form. I can try to look, but I mustn't look with my eyes. Once my eyes tell me there's nothing there, I won't be able to see anymore. I learned that from the director of the Fukuin house. You mustn't try and see with your eyes. You must see with the eyes of your heart. The whole world is filled with God's love. In the many blessings of everyday life, one can see God, angels, and the Holy Ghost. If you try to look with your eyes, you won't see them, so you won't be able to see them. So you won't be able to feel them or understand them. With the eyes of the heart, you will quietly understand. You don't look at their image. You see and draw them with your heart. In this way, I learn how to recognize beings not of this world at the Fukuin house. It doesn't just mean being able to see God. This power lets one see all of those not of this world. Please, stop it now. Stop this prank.
Oh, so you can speak to me?
I'm clumsy, bad at my job, and I do put things down and forget about them a lot. But I know which things were my fault, and which things were because of your pranks.
How amusing. I know you can perceive me in my formless state, but you can even understand my little game. It seems you're a more interesting creature than I thought. Yasu.
I'm usually called Yasu when one of the older servants is laughing behind my back at some mistake I've made. So when I hear that name, it feels bad. She called me not by the blessed name given to me by the Fukuin house, but by that unblessed name. Upsetting the heart is a classic move that evil beings make. They do it to make it harder for people to notice their presence. To beings like witches, being understood is like shoving them out into the light of day. It won't work. In the Fukuin house, I learned how to perceive those not of this world. So I'm already able to understand you.
Very interesting. You've taken me, a being so faint that I'd fly away if you blew on me, and trapped me, perceived me. You're an interesting kid, Yasu.
It won't work. I've now understood and perceived you. No matter how many unpleasant things you say, you just expose the ugliness of your heart. Without turning around, I slowly let my range of vision fill the entire chapel. It was as though the viewpoint of my soul was floating out from the shell of my head. See? Inch by inch, my range of vision is floating out of my head and drifting upwards. As I look down at myself, standing there with head hanging and eyes tightly shut, my mind's eye, very slowly, rose up to the ceiling of the chapel. And when I looked down from there, I saw myself standing in the center of the chapel, and the witch standing behind me. Apparently the witch realized that I could see her. She turned around and raised her eyes to look at the eyes of my heart, floating by the ceiling. At last, I could see the witch Beatrice with the eyes of my heart.
A mere human that can perceive my form.
His demonic lips twisted in an ugly curve. It was clearly a challenging, repulsive, demon's smile. She wore a blood red dress and hat. The design was completely different from anything humans wore. Her hair was blonde. It had countless beautiful curls, like a princess from a picture book. But there was no trace of cuteness about her.
I did think you were a bit different from the other humans, but it seems I was mistaken. Forget just a bit, you're nothing like those other humans.
You sad witch who can be seen by no one, heard by no one. Have you been pulling these pranks all the time just to catch the attention of humans?
I use a little magic I have to interfere with when humans aren't looking. But no matter what I do, none of them think it's magic. They decide that they just made a little mistake, and blow my existence away like the candles on a cake.
If so, then I've just saved you. Because I understand you and have perceived you.
Save me? To me, this meeting with you is nothing more than a new way to kill time.
It's getting dark. I don't have time to play with you anymore.
Oh, my apologies. I was so engrossed I didn't notice the time.
Please, give it back. My cleaning tool.
That small broom, or whatever you call it, it's right there by the next window.
But as soon as I'll get close, you'll move it to the next window over.
My form is elusive, as is my magic. With a snap of my fingers, I can do anything.
The witch snapped her fingers, and various things throughout the chapel were sucked into a black pitfall beneath them, disappearing. No, they didn't disappear. The instant they vanished into the dark halls, other dark halls appeared in completely different parts of the chapel, and the vanished objects fell out of halls. Chairs, musical scores, clocks, and vases started appearing and disappearing all across the room. It made it feel as though countless tools were flying about in the chapel.
I can do things like this, but don't. After all, this would be a bit beyond a mere prank, don't you think?
I wonder what the difference between a prank and magic is to a witch. When she snapped her fingers again, all of the loud flying objects returned to their original spots. And silence fell.
I've taken a liking to you. You've perceived and captured me. It works the same in reverse. I've perceived and captured you.
The fucking director told me not to try and see evil beings. If you see them, they will possess you. Now that I understood this switch, a bond has been formed between us.
That is correct. Now that you have acknowledged my existence, I have formed a bond with you. For all the years I've spent in boredom, it'll be nice to have a young kid like you to talk to.
I'll talk to you from time to time. So, will you stop pulling pranks like this?
No, I'm not here to talk to you, but to play with you. And if we're playing, pranks are just part of the game, right? Very well. I've had enough fun for one day. The sun has sunk and the moon is full. I'm a bit tired of appearing in front of you for so long. Let us call it a night. Look how much fun we had with just a single broom.
Please, give it back.
No way. I'll keep this as a token of our meeting. Got a problem with that?
If I said I did, would you give it back to me?
I never listen to humans. However, I might lend an ear to a friend.
If you give it back, I'll acknowledge you as a friend.
Foolish human. Did you actually think that that alone would make me want to deal? If you want to make a deal with me, try drawing a mysterious magic circle or two. And yet, I might consider your proposal.
What do you mean, you might?
I'll take my time at deciding whether you're worthy to be my friend. After all, to be a witch is to be contrarian. And I'm an Jaku. If you ask us for an answer, we'll never give you one right away.
Understood. Then I'll leave the small broom with you. Please give it back when you decide to become my friend.
Very well. Will this broom become a bridge of friendship between us, or not? I will hang on to it for now, making my decision in my own good time.
When the witch snapped her fingers, the broom for which I had searched so long, fell out of a hole in the air, landing between the fingers she had just snapped.
This is goodbye. This game with you is far from boring. Let us play again sometime.
If you're my friend, that is.
When a cat toys the mouth, does it try to become friends with it first?
The witch faded away. As she did, the eyes of my heart shut themselves. When I returned to my body, I felt suddenly tired and let out the breath I'd been holding. Of course, when I turned around, there was no one to be seen. I couldn't feel the witch's presence anywhere anymore. It had gotten very dark by this time. I decided to leave the chapel. There's no point in searching for the small broom any longer, not until the witch decides to give it back. I went out of the chapel. The chapel key had been left in the lock. I used it to lock the door. What am I going to do about the small broom? There's nothing I can do. I can't even blame the witch. I must acknowledge that I am responsible for giving the witch a chance. When I happened to glance downwards, I saw a small broom lying there by my feet. It was the broom I had been searching for all this time. Don't tell me that it'll be swallowed up by a dark hole the instant I bent over to pick it up. No. This is a sign from the witch. A sign that she acknowledges me as a friend. I picked it up. Oh, I am one, yet many.
The first friend I made after coming to the island was apparently not a human at all. However, when I think back on it, it was only natural. What other sort of friend would you expect to make on a witch's island? This was the first meeting between me and Beatrice. However, as some of you listeners may have noticed, this was not a meeting with the real Beatrice. The witch I then called Beatrice would later be known by another name. However, She was clearly not human. And being bonded with one who is not human means being bonded with their world. I still had no way of knowing the varied fates that waited for me on Rokenjima.
Perfect timing.
All right,
That'll
so
be
should I not give my thoughts because I could still go over stuff.
I'm fairly certain that everything that you could have said has already been touched on and will be touched on in the future.
I mean, regardless if it's touched on in the future, I could still, still find, like, Leon is still a mystery. Leon was a mystery. It's like the stuff I could have gone over.
Yeah, but
there's
we've
stuff
already...
involving the other family that I could go over. There's the stuff in the doll room.
I'm fairly certain that all that stuff will be gone over in the future through all of this.
That's the point. It's like giving you theories on what.
All right, let's just hear the theories. What else?
I'm consulting with Fight Club right now. I'm getting.
So, all right, hold on a second, Bone. Can I ask you like an honest question?
All right.
So, when you say you're going to be doing a theory, are you just going to be asking Are you asking a question about what you just saw, or do you have an answer that you formulated in your head?
Okay, it's less theories and more thoughts. Is that better? Like reactions.
All right. So, do we want to have a general reaction time, or are we good?
That was the goal.
Like that's
We
what. Like
can
I kind
have
of
general
just.
reactions, but when you said theories, like we already did our theories.
Okay. Let me rephrase it though, like because to me, theories was always like kind of synonymous with reaction. Like just this thing happened. What is coming up? Like what does this mean? What does that mean? Could this mean that? So like yes, theories, but also reactions.
I didn't know that when we did the big theories that we would just stop theory time.
Yeah, you didn't really discuss that with us.
I mean, that was sort of the operative point, because at this point there's, like, in terms of actual theory crafting, there's not much room left for you.
Alright, how about I go over, like, maybe if I just, like, quickly go over my notes, which is kind of 3 sessions worth, but it probably won't take that long if I speed read it. How about I just do that?
I just kind of thought it was pretty obvious. From this point forward, we were just going to go ahead and get the answers to everything.
But I like the reactions. Like, I think the thoughts...
The answers aren't here yet.
Theories and reactions.
Okay, well, I think the reactions are fun. Because, there are theories tied... Beatrice. Sorry, I couldn't help.
Theory time is over. Thanks so much.
Amakusa.
No.
Read Beaglesaurus.
I'm sorry. But, okay, so, like, there are theories in some of these reactions, so I just kind of said theory. Like, I have some thoughts of the doll. I have some thoughts regarding Zepar and Furfur, what they might actually be. So should I just speed read through these notes?
Sure, I guess.
Alright. I wonder how much narrative meaning there was in Leon's name. Potentially actually very little, but I think there was an analogy in this session about something about a lion. I didn't quite get that. I had a theory about are Ronave and Regalia codenames for Genji and Kumasawa. Could they be potential agents for the rival family? But given how much they've been, they went over their backstory of Kinzo, I'm now having doubts about that. Scrolling down. So Leon is supposed to be Natsui's child, right? Is this potentially an alternate world where the child didn't fall off the cliff? Or is there something that breaks off that idea? So I was kind of right with that. Just the child still fell off the cliff, just survived. Going down. That's where the gold came from. Okay, is it implying that the goat men were possibly people talking in a different language? Because in the fight scene, it mentioned that the people shouting in a different language sounded like animals. Maria seems to be desperate to rationalize her own bad circumstance. I also mentioned something about Mariage Sorcière having the word Maria in it. I wonder if there's any meaning in that, or if there's coincidence. I'm banging on coincidence. So whenever they say universe, like it takes one person, like 2 people to make a universe, or one witch, could that be an internal escape, like an imagination land? Okay, I wrote this one thing weird, so I'm just gonna skip that. I kind of had this thought: is Leon intentionally made to be like a Mary Sue because they were talking about how Leon is great at everything? What? But I have doubts about that. There was remember, I'm going back in session 2 now again. They mentioned something about Leon being great at everything. but I think this is a dead end. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, I think they explain. They already it kind of like touched on that, like not this session, but during like the earlier like thing in episode 7.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go over that again?
Sure.
Basically, that wasn't that through like this perspective of Jessica, and Jessica's like, Leon can do anything. So it was more a point of like Jessica being jealous of
I
Leon.
mentioned before that
it was
like they were
perspective.
like that. I'm wondering if narrative, like storytelling, elements were going to actually become mechanics in the game. But so I was wondering, is there actually going to be a legitimate Deus Ex Machina as a mechanic of the game? And then I'm thought, okay, is a Mary Sue going? Like, is that going to somehow like an intentional one, like an avatar? But I don't think it will go that way.
We already got that in the form of Erica.
I would not call her perfect. I would not.
No.
Call her perfect.
Also, did you see the end of episode 6? She lost super hard.
She's a fucking
yeah.
goober.
That was a deconstruction.
Well, regardless, I think it still was a valid thought, but I don't think that's where we're going. Okay, I think one of the biggest questions is what is the reality of Leon, Willard, and Erica's existence? They have all acknowledged the metaverse in game, like on the game board. This is why I still think, okay, I think magic does exist. It just won't matter overall to the actual mystery. But I'm still very curious about what their existence is.
I mean, I thought that was the thing the whole time. In the metaverse of witches, the magic exists. It just doesn't affect the characters in the real world.
We don't know yet.
I've just come to accept that it does exist at the same time it does not exist.
It's flavor. It's just not part of the real world.
It's still a fun thought, but regardless. So, going down. Okay. Okay, no, that wouldn't work. I was wondering, when did the epitaph get made? Was it pre or post Beato death? Do we have an answer to this?
I'm unsure if I do not think they have stated the answer yet.
Okay, I'm wondering if that might be a thing to think about. Could this doll be a person in makeup to be used as a distraction, or more so was the phone a distraction for something going on in that room? If that makes sense.
I think that the epitaph would have owned the best time for it to be written was after Kinzo thought that the third reincarnation of Beatrice was dead, because that's when he's desperate to get access to Beatrice again, as fucking gross as that is.
Regardless, is it possible that something was going on in the VIP room and Jessica just happened to walk in at a bad time for like some ne'er-do-wells to be doing something?
I mean,
could there be a person in there that just pretended to be a doll? Could that doll actually be a human?
I mean, if part 6 is to believe, the entire fucking family decided to play dead to troll Erica, so...
Yeah.
I still don't think we have a full... Wait, yeah... It's hard to tell. Like, maybe... I don't know, I don't think we haven't gotten a confirmation on that. Distraction and misdirection is a big theme, and there were two... This is still in regards to the doll room. There were two objects of potential distraction. The doll and the phone. Was one a coincidence or both intentional? And what was the point of diverting their attention if this is the case? Basically, was the phone or a doll a distraction for something going on in that room while Jessica was looking away?
Well, I wouldn't put it past somebody to prank her because they were telling her, "Oh, don't go in there. You better not. You get scared," and then she did it anyway.
It could have been a long-form prank.
Another thing.
Do that.
Sorry.
That's a lot less hardcore than pretending to die.
Another thing to wonder is why did the doll look not like Beatrice? Inherent. Oh, wow, I wrote.
So hold on a second. If I could actually have a small addendum to the doll thing, but Bone, I want you to know that the original version of Umineko did not have a CG for the doll, so I wouldn't necessarily take its appearance into consideration.
Okay, because I wrote this thing about if it's supposed to be a representation of Beatrice, why does it not look like Beatrice?
I would not worry about this at all, Continue.
It's your turn to come up with a theory from nothing, like my idea that like the witches were corrupted Higurashi characters.
Like, I was also wondering, like, if Leon... Yeah, but I was also wondering if, like, Leon maybe was a part of what was going on in that room or not, because, we were... This is still, like, 2 sessions ago.
Sometimes the door is just blue, sometimes the doll is just there as a representation element.
But we don't know.
Sometimes
it might mean
it's
more.
a zebra.
Like numbers turn out to mean way more than they actually seem to be. So it's like,
sorry, but like keep it going a little bit, please.
Yes. So I wrote down. So could this represent that these questions about Beatrice being a witch and the epitaph are irrelevant? But I don't know what spawned that question. I don't know what event. I don't remember what event spawned that. And scrolling down. I found it. I'm pretty sure I mentioned that I found it odd before that Shannon and Cannon didn't seem to have a demon associated with them, like Ronabe does to Genji or Vilgilia to Kumasawa, which they seem to be somehow related. And so I'm wondering, could that be Zepar and Furfur that represent Cannon and Shannon in some way? Could they be connected?
I don't see it.
And so, and I was also wrote down. So if the stakes were people, like actual people that existed, their avatars were people, I still don't think that means that they were on, so I think that was supposed to kind of mislead you into thinking, oh, were there other servants on the island that were killing people that were represented at the stakes? But I don't think that's the case, because then that would break the red that said there was only so-and-so amount of people on the island, and that is all.
All right.
That was something.
Yeah,
so, are there any other
thoughts.
general reactions to the stuff going on?
I'm very curious what the deal with Claire is. I'm wondering, is she just a representation of the audience, or if she's
feels more like
an
she-
actual character?
You can show her character, can't you?
It feels more like she's a representation of the culprit themselves, or at least of the servant that became Beatrice, I guess.
And it's also interesting that I think her name is Claire, another one of those things where servants are given English names. Wait, are they?
Blessed names.
Yeah. Wait, no, servants are not.
No, they're given names with a non.
Japanese.
Yeah.
Also, sure, because I thought it might be like half asleep, but did the character that just looked like Gap say Beatrice?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Beatrice, obviously.
Beatrice,
Clearly.
The way I read it was...
Beatrice.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think that's another mystery, too.
The way I read it was just that it was just the younger servant's interpretation of Beatrice, because 1, she's young, 2, they're in the church, alone, in the dark, 3, they're probably guilt-ridden and cracked out of their mind. If they're already seeing other kinds of things, then what's not to stop them from seeing a physical representation of the thing that's constantly playing tricks on you and happen to look just like the Beatrice portrait, except also wears some skimpy outfit?
Yeah, different forms of different Beatrice depending on person's point of view.
Bada bing.
I mean, they kind of explain that Beatrice.
Form of Beatrice.
Like, they kind of explain that Beatrice is a title that gets passed on.
The thing is, it's also like a real person with like a real appearance. So why do these other... Well, okay, no, wait, it would make sense though, because that's what... So Gap and Virgilia are potentially what the servants thought of as Beatrice.
Yeah, and like your different that actually makes sense. Like a different aspect of the original, Beatrice Castiglione or whatever her name was, personality. I could see that.
Yeah, like maybe they just then again they would know what the Beatrice looks like though, wouldn't they? Because of the painting, or was the when was the painting put up again?
This is still not clear.
No, I thought they said when it was put up, didn't they?
I think it was only a couple of years before Battler came to the island.
Can I get a fact check on this?
Sure. You know what? Here. So someone provide the definitive explanation for what I should say about this.
I think they mentioned when it was put up.
Just a second. Hold on a second.
We're deliberating.
I think I remember Battler mentioning that the portrait wasn't there in the first episode, or he doesn't remember the portrait being there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what? That is a fair assessment. Yes. Balor did not see that when he was there the last time, which was about 6 years ago. So it was put up during that 6-year period.
All right, so it's possible that like Virgilia might have been how the young Beatrice thought Beatrice looked like. Cause what?
My dog is just right beside me. Riri, down boy.
And maybe like Gap is what another servant thought Beatrice looked like. No, I think that was a fun one.
Yeah.
Alright, that's my thoughts.
Alrighty,
is there any others?
Unless there's any other like general thoughts about what happened during this episode, we're gonna go ahead and cap things off here. And it would appear that people are already making their way to the Fantasia fight room, so I guess
I would like us to keep up these like post episode.
Oh yeah, no, we can
yes.
Like general reaction stuff will continue, but like just theories are kind of like gonna peter out a little bit. There's not much of a there's not really like much of a point at this point.
When you're theorizing
I think my theory is mostly correct.
about
anyway.
exact thing that will appear in the next or the session or the one after it. So.
Because like there's still stuff to discuss. There's still like mysteries that are still there, so it's fun to talk about that.
Yeah.
I in my opinion, I think there should be like an afterthoughts and discuss. Like it doesn't have to be big, in depth like theories and like. But I think it should just be like, oh hey, what do you think about what I just transpired?
That's what I'm. That's what I'm.
Yeah,
And
like
of course,
there were some theories put into there, so it's like that's why I was calling them theories still.
And of course, it is worth mentioning, and this is gonna be the last bit. Sorry, but it's like we're 15 minutes over. I don't want to keep people trapped here anymore.
No.
Basically, so remember, we are going to have like a big like one final bash stream before we do what's it called? Last Notes of the Golden Witch, which is going to be like our last like big like thoughts and people and like us just kind of like going over quote unquote the answers, so to speak. So if you want to have like broad overarching opinions about Umineko, save that for that bit, because we're gonna have just like a long ass discussion about that stuff in the future. But at any rate, that'll be it for right now. Good night, everybody. Have a lovely evening.
Good night.
Read Beaglesaurus like Noir already did the thing. He did the thing in the chat already.
At least once, yeah.
Consider
There's one in
following.
there.
Maybe you can subscribe. Money, I appreciate it, especially if it's Prime, because that way Amazon gives me money. That's rad as fuck. All right, I want to steal things out of Jeff Bezos' coifers. All right, good night.
It's always morally correct.
Allergies suck.
Bye bye.